Here with Ross Grande at the Overtime School of Wrestling offices in Naperville, Illinois. Ross is a graduate of Palatine High School and also of University of Nebraska-Lincoln. So what brings you to Overtime, Ross?
Just trying to learn the skills and some of the things that Overtime does as an organization, teaching wrestling to young men and the fundamentals of coaching.
Now you're one of our 2 or 3 interns that we're going to be starting in the spring, summer of 2013. Have you ever done any type of internship like this before? And what will your, degree at the University of Nebraska, how will that help you move forward?
Well, I have interned, not necessarily in a wrestling setting. I've interned at fitness facilities before as one of my practicum courses for college. But my degrees are in exercise science and nutrition. And so going forward in the sport of wrestling and my career, those can really help me as far as helping athletes improve their performance, as far as cutting weight or strength or power, whatever their goals may be. And I think it's really going to mesh well with wrestling or wherever my career decides to take me.
We brought you on as an intern because some of your unique experiences, like you being a wrestler at the University of Nebraska, and you also having been a big part of their training camps with the younger athletes. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience as a wrestler at the University of Nebraska and your experiences with working with young kids at wrestling camps?
Yeah, wrestling at the school for 5 years, you definitely learn all the fundamentals of the program, and you kind of understand that all programs run differently, and so my style of wrestling that I bring is kind of geared towards the Nebraska style, which I think when you bring different people in from different areas, you always get kind of a different aspect or their approach towards a position or a hold, and so I think it's really good to have a new face and just something kind of different in the room, helping kids out, things like that. And as far as coaching, I've done a lot of coaching out in Nebraska. I've coached state champs, national finalists. I've coached wrestling camps. I've done intensive camps that last for 2 weeks. I've done that for the past 4 years for Nebraska. Do their team camps for them, where I'm in charge of a wrestling team, high school team, and I coach them through a camp. I've also done a lot of clubs out there. I was in charge of 3 or 4 different clubs. The Nebraska Training Center out in Wilbur, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. So I've had a lot of experience coaching kids and seeing what works and some kind of common trends you'll see. And it'll be interesting coming into a room where you have a little more advanced wrestlers and not so many raw wrestlers, where you can kind of fine-tune their skills a little more.
Now, what do you think it will take for a student at Overtime, or any kid in Illinois for that matter, to get into I guess Nebraska's in the Big Ten now. What would it take for a student athlete that wants to pursue wrestling at the Division I level to get into a school like Nebraska?
Well, I would say, one of the big things is taking your schoolwork seriously. There's a lot of really good wrestlers that don't get taken on by big programs because they can't pass clearinghouse or NCAA rules that require that they have certain grades that they get into the school. That being said, being an athlete can help you get into a school, but it's, that's not going to do it all for you. So on top of, your training, training hard, with a lot of intensity every day, wanting to be there, wanting to get better, and never thinking that you're the best out there, because there's always going to be people better than you, and you always have to be constantly improving. But you also have to not only challenge yourself on the mat, but also in the classroom. So I think those are the 2 kind of components that together will get you to where you want to be.
What do you hope this intern at Overtime School of Wrestling will do for you?
I think it'll kind of give me good exposure to wrestling in this area again. I've been gone for half a decade, and so seeing the kids and seeing their style of wrestling, and kind of just hope working my way into networking and meeting people, knowing people, and just kind of being a face in the area that people can trust and kind of rely on.
Anything else you'd like to add, Ross?
I'm just excited to start working here and helping kids improve.
We've been speaking to Ross Grande, who is now an Overtime School of Wrestling intern. Thank you very much, Ross.
Yep, no problem.